The time is 5 o'clock. Here is the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Respite for houses marked in Abeokuta for demolition for 1.5 billion US dollars rail projects. Buhari directs security agencies to raise intelligence gathering. State governors back Oshibajo on the proposed state police force. Governor Okorocha tips son-in-law to succeed him in 2094. On the foreign scene, South Africa ruling party sets to ask President Zuma to quit, and Commonwealth begins the process of who succeeds the Queen as its head. Good evening, I am Kunle. Alaye bringing you the news in detail shortly. Federal government is considering shifting the path of its right of way of its 1.5 billion US dollars Lagos Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail project across Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Under the ongoing consideration, the 1,400 buildings at the Harmony Estate near Okimoson, Abeokuta, which are on the project's right of way marked for demolition, may be spared. Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi made this known to newsmen in Ibadan after a meeting with the contractor handling the project, China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. The minister says they are rethinking the rights way of the project across Abeokuta due to the high cost of compensation put at 2.7 billion naira that will be payable to the owners of 1,400 buildings marked for demolition at the Harmony Estate. Amity says the contractor is considering redirecting the right of way to the left of the Harmony Estate, where there is a huge expanse of land with few structures that will require the payment of low compensation. The laying of the track of the standard gauge rail system is scheduled to begin from Papa Lanto near Abeokuta in April. Former Governor Olusegun Oshoba says he is collecting only 676,000 naira monthly pension since his exit as a former Ogun State Governor in the year 2003. Oshoba says the pension is far below the outrageous pensions being collected by some former governors in other states of the Federation. Oshoba, speaking in an interview with newsmen at his Ikoyi home in Lagos, says the 676,000 naira pension is in line with the provision of the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC). The 676,000 naira monthly pension, according to the former governor, can either sustain him or even fuel his car in a month. Then that the tax he paid into the coffers of the state is far more than what the state government is paying him. He recalls that it took the intervention of top traditional rulers and citizens of the state before the Benga Daniel administration paid his entitlement as a former governor. Oshoba also says he has never benefited from the provision of RMAFC, that the car of former governors and their deputies must be changed every 3 years, except when it clocked 70 years, 9 years ago. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed security agencies and military to take the gathering of intelligence and sharing of them very seriously to effectively cope with the rising security challenges in the country. Buhari specifically has both the police and Department of State Security to further develop their intelligence gathering system. The president, who issues the directives at a meeting with Nigerian top security chiefs at the presidential villa in Abuja, made this known on his Twitter handle after the meeting. He asked them to always be ahead of bandits and criminals across the country, while promising them maximum support of government. He also promises that all the suspects arrested so far for illegal possession of arms and ammunition will be duly prosecuted. At the meeting with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the National Security Advisor, Interior Minister, and Defense Minister, others are the Defense Chief of Staff, the Armed Forces Service Chiefs, Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Department of Security Service. Also at the meeting were the Controllers General of Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, and Nigerian Prison Service, as well as the Corps Marshal of Federal Road Safety Corps and Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State has warned his Plateau State counterpart Simon Lalong to stop interfering in the Benue anti-open grazing crisis. Ortom told Lalong to mind his business in Plateau State and not dabble into the crisis in Benue State. The governor issued a warning at the stakeholders meeting of the National Economic Council's Technical Committee on the Herdsmen and Farmers Crisis Resolution at the Government House in Makurdi. Autumn recalls that his deputy met Lalong at a public function outside the state, during which the Plateau State Governor insisted on his earlier claim that he advised against the introduction of the anti-open grazing law in Benue State. The governor adds that Lalong told his deputy that he apologized over his earlier claim due to the pressure mounted on him. Autumn, however, dismissed the claim by Governor Lalong that he advised him against going ahead with the introduction of the anti-open grazing bill. The body of one of the police officers missing in Benue State after an ambush of a police patrol has been recovered. The body was mutilated with nose, ears, and eyes removed. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Moses Iyam, says another policeman is yet to be found. 4 police officers were initially declared missing after a police patrol was ambushed by suspected herdsmen at Azaji Ayilamu in Logologo government area of the state. A few days after, 2 of the officers were found before the mutilated body of another of the missing officer was recovered. Several units of mobile police force and special units had been deployed to the state to stop killing of people by the herdsmen. The state governors have declared their support for this proposed state police force. Their endorsement comes days after Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, backing the proposal, says the centralized police system controlled from Abuja is no longer effective for policing the country. Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari, announced the support of the governors for the state police force at the National Security Summit organized by the Senate. Governor Yari says the proposed state police force will assist in tackling the growing security threat nationwide. Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State has tipped his son-in-law to succeed him in 2019. The son-in-law chief, Uche Nwosu, is at present his chief of staff. Okorocha made this known to the APC leaders from the Owerri Municipal Council at the Government House in Owerri. He says that Nwosu is yet to show interest in the 2019 governorship race, but he will back him whenever he makes up his mind to join the race. The governor explains that his planned support for the chief of staff is for sustainability of his administration's monumental achievements, which cannot be left in the hand of any other person. Uche, according to the governor, is hardworking, humble, not upset with powers, and has leadership qualities. You are still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you forward business and the sport news. Please do stay with us. South Africa's ruling African National Congress, ANC, will formally ask for President Jacob Zuma to resign after he refused to do so earlier. The reported decision to recall him followed marathon talks by senior party officials that continue into the early hours of Tuesday. If Mr. Zuma, 75, still does not budge, he will face a vote of no confidence in the parliament that he is expected to lose. In power since 2009, he has been dogged by corruption allegations. The ANC has not officially confirmed his plans, but party sources have described them to South African media outlets. Mr. Zuma has resisted increasing pressure to quit since December, when Cyril Ramaphosa replaced him as leader of the ANC. It is unclear how Mr. Zuma will respond to the former request to step down, which is expected to be issued later. The Commonwealth has secretly begun considering who might succeed the Queen as its head. The issue is hugely sensitive because the role is not hereditary and will not pass automatically to the Prince of Wales on the Queen's death. The Commonwealth has set up a high-level group to look at the way the international organization is governed. This group is meeting later officially to review how the Commonwealth is run by Secretariat and governors. However, senior sources added that the gathering in London will also consider what happens when the Queen, who turns 92 in April, dies. The group is expected to report to the Commonwealth heads of governments in London in April, which is likely to be the last that the 91-year-old monarch will attend. Up next is business news. Security and Exchange Commission (SEC) says it is yet to be notified by the MTN Group on his plans to raise about 500 million US dollars from the Nigeria's capital markets. A source who pleaded an anonymity told newsmen in Lagos that the commission is yet to receive any application from MTN on initial public offering IPO. There were reports recently that MTN Group Limited was perfecting plans to raise about 500 million US dollars from the sale of shares in its Nigerian business in the first half of 2018. Standard Bank Group Limited and Citigroup Incorporation have been advising Africa's largest mobile phone company on the disposal of as much as 30% of the Lagos-based units on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. MTN had agreed to list the Nigerian unit as part of June 2016 agreement to pay $1 billion fine for missing a deadline to disconnect unregistered subscribers amid a security crackdown. Finally, in the world news is sport news. Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has formally released the names of coaching crews of 5 national teams. The federation, in a statement by its communication department, however, said the development did not relate to 3 other national teams. These 3 are the senior men's team, the Super Eagles, the under-20 women's team, the Falconets, and the under-17 women's team, the Flamingos, whose contracts are running. The statement quoted the chairman of NFF's Technical and Development Committee, Yusuf Ahmed, as saying the appointment will with immediate effect. Ahmed, who is also vice chairman of NFF's Strategy Committee, said all the coaches will be unveiled at a later date alongside the coaching crews of the Falconets and Flamingos. And that was the World News at 5, but just before we go, quick recap of the major stories once again. Respite for houses marked in Abeokuta for demolition for 1.5 billion US dollars rail project. Buhari directs security agencies to raise intelligence gathering. State governors back Oshibajo on the proposed state police force. Governor Roches Okorocha tips son-in-law to succeed him in the year 2019. On the foreign scene, the earlier reported South Africa ruling party is set to ask President Zuma to quit. Commonwealth of Nations begins the process of who succeeds the Queen as it said. For more stories and to listen to us live, please do log on to our website www.rockcityheavenradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Kunle. Alaye. Do have a wonderful Tuesday evening.